Let's expand now on the ban. In December, the Clark County Commission voted unanimously to prohibit the sale of dogs, cats, rabbits, or pot-bellied pigs by retailers in unincorporated Clark County. These retailers, or pet stores, will have 1 year to continue selling those animals, and after that, stores found in violation will face a minimum fine of $500. Joining us to talk more about the ban is Michael Naft. He is the Clark County Commissioner who introduced the ordinance. Commissioner, thank you for joining us.
It's good to be with you. Thank you.
What was it that made you go, hey, pet stores should not be selling these animals?
Well, I think anyone who has spent some time looking into puppy mills will feel the way that I feel. It really is inhumane, and just you have these innocent victims who need someone to stand up for them. And while we at the local level have little authority on what we can do about puppy mills, we can do something about their pipeline. And the fact is, pet stores are getting their pets, getting their dogs and cats, dogs primarily, from puppy mills. And the treatment that they're going through, that the horrible conditions, is just devastating and heartbreaking. So if there's something that we could do about it, I sure felt compelled to do that.
And we'll get to the pet store's response on what you just said in a bit, but Clark County now joins Reno, Mesquite, and North Las Vegas, which all have similar pet store bans in place. The city of Las Vegas does not. It did have a ban it was set to impose back in 2018, but repealed it before it could go into effect. Here is a clip from the city council meeting in which that ban was repealed. Mayor Carolyn Goodman explaining why she was supporting the repeal.
It solves nothing. And all this is going to do come January 6th is close down 2 shops. That's all. It's going to solve nothing because anybody who wants to go buy a puppy from a puppy mill will just go online and go buy it. Or for those that exist in this state, and I was told there are no puppy mills in this state, I don't believe it, and they'll just go find one, and we are doing and showing no leadership here.
Commissioner, your response to that argument?
Yeah, well, I think time has proven my good friend Mayor Goodman wrong in this matter. And that's because, as you just heard, there were 2 at the time that the city passed this ordinance in 2017. Later that year, the entire state of California went through a pet store prohibition, and that took effect in 2019. And since then, we have seen right here in our community the proliferation of pet stores every single month since that happened. So while it might not have been as devastating of a problem back then, at the time of that clip in 2017, it has only become worse. And I think had they kept this policy in place, we wouldn't be here today.
And at that meeting, Mayor Goodman did say the city of Las Vegas would resolve this issue of puppy mills and become an example as to how to bring about real change. We did invite her on the show. She declined to discuss what has been done in the 5 years since that repeal, and the city of Las Vegas did confirm that no new bills have come forward to try and address the issue of puppy mills. We also asked several pet store owners who are set to be impacted by this ban to come on the show. We could not find anyone willing to do so, but a few did speak at the Clark County Commission meetings. Here is one. Let's take a listen now.
I would love for us to sit down, run the numbers. Let's see if these animals that are at Animal Foundation, local rescues, are part of our animals, or are we the problem? We're open, for debate. We're open for working together, but an outright ban is, you're going to affect 20 plus stores for Clark County, over 200 employees.
All right, so a few issues were brought up there. First, you believe pet stores are leading to animal overcrowding at shelters. How can you tell this?
I do believe that. I think we know that. I think if you speak to either our municipal shelter, the Animal Foundation, I know you heard from Ms. Gray, or if you speak to the others here in our community, you just know it. You can get the facts directly from the source and from someone who's not standing to economically benefit. The other thing I would say is I'm certainly open to having you heard him call it debate, but conversation. I've met with nearly anyone who on this topic had an input or an interest and discussed it. And at the end of the day, you can't really compromise on welfare of animals when we know there is something that we can do. You heard the mayor say this isn't leadership. Well, she's kind of right. This isn't leadership because 400 communities across this country have already enacted such ordinances. Multiple states, since the time that we passed this, the entire state of New York has already adopted it. So, and that includes, as you mentioned, our sister cities in Reno, North Las Vegas, Mesquite, here in the community. So Clark County wasn't leading on this. We're following a policy that we know has been effective and works in other communities.
So you mentioned California's ban, and Clark County during this process did reach out to some of the jurisdictions in California where animal control officers also run the animal shelters and asked, since the ordinance went into effect, have you seen less animals being brought in? And the answer was no. So why do you think it's going to work here if it's not working there?
Well, I think if you look at the current state of events everywhere across our country as a result of the pandemic, the economic consequences, transitions that have been happening, people moving from community to community, you've seen surrenders go up. So I think that just speaks to why this is even more important right now, not why we have to walk away from it. I think it's, you just can't wait for this problem to get any worse. And that's what's happened since the time that the city repealed it. The worst thing you could do for businesses is to give them false hope of success and having them continue to open up month after month when you know that what they're doing is not right, doesn't match the values of this community, and is hurting taxpayers who at the end of the day fund places like the Animal Foundation and other municipal shelters.
So that's how you would justify the business impact here, taking away these people's source of income?
Well, look, nothing is harder than that, but what I want to make clear is we are not shutting down one business in this community. We have 89,000 business licensees. There are 12 who operate in this space, all of which are invited to amp up what they're doing with their business, things like grooming, pet grooming, things like retail sale and pet supplies, which are successful elsewhere. You have entire large companies that everybody's heard of who don't deal in this space but serve in the $2 billion industry of pet supplies and grooming and sales. And to take it one step further, because I would never want to see a policy that I enact negatively impact a business, we also moved forward with the Business Impact Grant Program to help these businesses, these 12 licensees, transition their staff, their employees into how they can move from pet sales into other relevant businesses, how we can help them transition their physical space, whether it's through TNI or other improvements to the physical space. They can apply for these grants to help them make the transition, because I want to make sure that not one of these guys go out of business because of a policy that we put in place, working together.
Before we run out of time, one more argument against the ban. Take a listen.
I believe in the power of choice. Banning pet stores affects my freedom to choose. Slogans such as adopt, don't shop is a manipulation tactic that affects my freedom. While being qualified, like most people, I was denied at a shelter because I work. They said that I won't have enough time for a pet. This ban will force me and others to go through backyard breeders, which are unregulated.
First off, the freedom of choice argument, how would you respond?
No doubt people should be able to operate in a way that that they want. However, not when it comes at the life of helpless animals. And that's what I believe this is. This is really the pet puppy mill to pet store ordinance, because we have to do something to prevent the puppy mills from getting their animals out. And this is one way to do it.
And pet stores would say, we don't get our pets from puppy mills, we get them from breeders regulated by the USDA. Is that regulation sufficient?
That's simply untrue, because the code of ethics for the breeders nationally does not allow them to sell to pet stores. So we know that there are no humane breeders that are selling to pet stores.
And last question, backyard breeders, that would be the next step, correct? Where do you even start?
Well, it is really important to recognize that this is not going to solve every problem that we have under the sun. I think this is a policy that's going to help our shelters. It's going to help taxpayers who are funding those shelters, but it's not going to solve everything. We do need to look closer at backyard breeding. This, particularly in our community, is something that has just exploded in the last decade, and we need to take a closer look at. And I certainly invite all all of those stakeholders who we heard from today and those we hadn't to reach out and let me know how we can move a policy that benefits everybody forward.
Commissioner Michael Naft, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
On January 4th, the Las Vegas City Council discussed what it would take to part ways with the Animal Foundation and open an animal shelter of its own. City Manager Jorge Cervantes estimated it would cost $35 million to construct a new facility and $6 million a year to run it. He said in the past 12 years, the city has paid the Animal Foundation about $2.3 million a year for its services, and added that the city would still have to make a $2.5 million bond payment. The council took no action.